Hi, this is David Hawthorne at astroview.com. The following is the Vedic astrology reading for Rick Perry, who is the governor of Texas. And this is based on March 4th, 1950 at 10:40 a.m. in Haskell, Texas. So at the moment of birth, we can see that the second sign of the zodiac was ascending in the first house. This is called Taurus rising sign. And for the Taurus rising sign, we see that the functional benefic planets, the most favorable planets, include Sun ruling the fourth house of parents and property and happiness, Moon ruling the third house of independence and self-expression, Mercury ruling the fifth house of mind, education, and children, and Saturn ruling the 10th house of career. So we see that this chart has the well-placed Sun, which is executive capability, leadership, politics, government, and presidential aspirations in the 10th house of career. Sun is considered quite strong. It's at 20 degrees in Aquarius. So this makes him very unconventional, imaginative, humanitarian. Now Sun is in Aquarius, so the landlord is Saturn. We have to go look at Saturn, and it's over here in the fourth house, in the fifth sign. And what we see that Saturn is also strong at 23 degrees. And Saturn is a functional benefic planet for this chart. It will never cause harm. And Moon is with Saturn. They're both at 23 degrees, and Moon is a functional benefic. So this conjunction is quite favorable, which is sometimes contrary to popular belief. If Saturn is a benefic and Moon is a benefic, then their conjunction is favorable. And they're right opposite the Sun, which is about 20 degrees, and they're about 23 degrees. So this is a very favorable mutual aspect. In fact, Rick Perry was born when Sun and Moon were opposite, so that is known as a full moon. And most people who are born under a full moon have public recognition. Everybody notices a full moon. So we would say that Sun is strong because the landlord Saturn is strong. And Saturn is in Leo, ruled by the Sun, which is back in Aquarius, ruled by the Saturn. So this is a nice yoga. This is an exchange of houses between Sun and Saturn. They're both strong, both well placed. And we see that Moon here in Leo makes him think royally, think big. So this part of the chart is absolutely sterling. This is very, very, very positive, very powerful situation. And so the fourth house is parents. He has good parents, good happiness as a child in childhood, good education. So Saturn and Moon here are fine. So he has some good fortune with property and home life, and he can work out of his home on his own self-efforts. And the Sun is very royal in the 10th house, so we can give him a leadership position. He is, in fact, the longest running governor in the state, in the history of the state of Texas. So he took over, he was lieutenant governor, and he took over and became governor when George W. Bush resigned to become president of the United States. And then after that, he was elected 3 or 4 times as governor. He's still governor currently. So this is very positive, very powerful in my opinion. Now there are some weaknesses in the chart. One is this Ketu, the southern node of the Moon, at 14 degrees is conjunct Mars at 15 degrees. So this is an affliction to Mars, and Mars rules his 12th house up here in the upper right-hand corner where Aries is sitting. And the 12th house is foreign lands. So this tells me that Rick Perry might have some difficulty with foreign policy or foreign lands situation. Not so good. And this can limit the number of brothers. I don't think he has any brothers. And this can cause some insomnia. So some problems with sleeping. And it can cause some trouble with the muscular parts of the body, energy, that type of thing. So Mars is afflicted in this chart. Now we come over here, we see that Jupiter, Ju for Jupiter, is at 28 degrees. Now that is considered old age, and it's weak. Moreover, Jupiter is in Capricorn, and Capricorn is Jupiter's debilitation sign. So this is a weak position for Jupiter. And Jupiter is wisdom, morality, divine grace, good luck, good fortune. So there's some weakness there. But sometimes when somebody has a debilitated Jupiter, they can be a little bit, think that they know everything, and maybe they are a little bit down on their luck from time to time. Causes some weakness of religion and morality. There's a little bit of weakness there. Can limit the number of male children, but he does have a son, and that's connected, I think, with the strong sun in the 10th house. He also has a very well-placed Venus in Capricorn in the 9th house. This is very good. Gives him a very earthy, practical wife. And he can have a woman guru in his life, a woman spiritual teacher, a spiritual advisor in his life as well. So Venus is considered strong and well-placed, and Venus rules the 6th house. So because it's strong and well-placed, it gives him the ability to overcome enemies and obstacles and win in disputes, for the most part. But we notice that this K2 over here at 14 degrees in the 5th house aspects 5 houses away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he aspects onto Venus. So this causes some setbacks and disappointments for him. I would recommend that he gets off of sugar products, or he will have trouble with his kidneys, his pancreas, and reproductive organs. It does say he can lose in litigation and disputes. So Rahu up here in the house of income is not close to his rising sign degree, which is 4 degrees, so it doesn't cause any harm, and it can give him enormous income. Now the striking thing here is that on June 7th, 2011, he went into 19 years of Saturn. And he had just finished 16 years of Jupiter, which is placed in the 9th house of good fortune. And for the last 16 years, he had the good fortune of being governor of the state of Texas. He often said he didn't want to pursue the presidency because he had the best job in the country, which was to be the governor of the state of Texas. But all this changed, and in June 2011, he went into 19 years of Saturn. And Saturn is very powerful. Saturn is in Leo, ruled by the royal sun in the house of career. So this can take him to very high positions. Absolutely can take him to high positions. And this double Saturn runs until June 2014. Now the only issue is that currently in transit, Saturn is now down in his 6th house. See, what happened is he went into double Saturn in June, and then in September he announced his bid to become the President of the United States. But this may not be supported because the transit of Saturn has just now in November, middle of November 2011, has gone into his 6th house. And even though it's exalted in Libra, that is still the house of enemies, conflict, disputes, litigation, bankruptcy, divorce, mental tension, health issues. And so this is going to engage his career in conflict. And the ruler of the house of conflict is Venus, which is afflicted by the aspect of K2, old karma, setbacks, disappointments. So I don't think he's going to go all the way to the top in terms of being the President of the United States, but it's clear to see that he's got a very powerful political clout and has done very well in this life. So these are some of the main points from the chart for Rick Perry, the governor of the state of Texas.